personality, I think you could say, has probably changed measurably, chartably.
This guy isn't gonna show himself until you take care of that sub. There's a switch in the back. Break it to stop the sub's function.
But again, like, I'm in this weird place where, like, again, I have, like, if anyone is in a place to confidently discuss the writing when it comes to Sonic games, it would probably be me. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but in fact, you could arguably say I'm kind of I'm overthinking this stuff to a degree that no one else has ever thought about this stuff and shouldn't, because it's kind of dumb. So if anyone has, I want to say, like, the authority.
The battle's only just starting now, but don't let him pressure you.
Yeah, we've done this. But, like, if anyone has, like, the confidence, I guess you could say, to talk about the writing in Sonic, it would probably be me. Just saying. And personally, I don't feel like the minute-to-minute writing in the Sonic games has ever been particularly strong. Like I've talked extensively about, like, the narrative themes and character development and the lore of the Sonic series. But when it comes to the minute-to-minute, down in the trenches writing of the Sonic games, it's always been pretty weak, all things considered. Like, it's never been much in the way of conversational ability. I think someone once pointed out that, like, in Sonic games, characters don't really have conversations. They just sort of make declarative statements at each other, and that advances the plot. Like, it's almost all of the dialogue in Sonic games is expositional. It has its moments, and when you there are definitely interspersed individual moments of, this is a really great, Jesus Christ, look at all of them. This is a really great Sonic moment. This one moment. Like, what you see is what you get, just a guy who loves adventure. But on, like, those are one or two moments out of, like, tens of hours of long games. Come on. Almost done with you. What was that? Come on. I feel like that should work. There we go. Give me them rings, bitch! Yeah, again, I feel like it's really tough to collect those rings after they blow up like that. Anyway. When you step back and look at the grand tapestry of the narratives and all that good stuff of the Sonic games, I feel like it's a pretty picture. But when you get up close and start looking at the nitty-gritty details, you start seeing some imperfections in the knitting. What's the word for tapestry? Oh, that's gonna bug me now. And you know what I mean. Whereas, now that we've gotten to this era of Sonic, it's sort of the opposite. Where the grand, that started back in Sonic Adventure, arguably. Where, when it comes to, like, the grand narrative, there's not a whole lot to sink your teeth into there.
Great job, Sonic.
You know me. I aim to please.
Well, I'm totally pleased. And a little nauseous. I grabbed a bite at the bucket of sushi.
Why?
What's the verdict?
Why would you do this?
His cruelty knows no bounds.
Oh, Foxeh eating fish. I feel like it's sort of the opposite, and that sort of started with Sonic Unleashed, where the wider narrative plot and lore of Dark Gaia was fucking stupid and didn't matter. It was an excuse to have the fun, like, world vacation story. I think this one is the best one to do next, yeah. Love the music for this area. Whereas we have kind of the opposite, where the wider, grand plot and narrative and lore is really unimportant, borderline non-existent, like just an excuse to have a fun game to go through. But the minute-to-minute writing of the characters conversing with each other and having fun, energetic, playful dialogue that's entertaining to just listen to and sit through is much better in that regard. So it's sort of the complete opposite.
Change forms with a nega wisp for the Berserker Frenzy form.
And yeah, it would be nice to have the best of both worlds, but I think both are fine and have their strengths and weaknesses. I'm not saying, like, you would never catch me saying, like, oh, it's not the same, it's doing a different thing, therefore it's not as good. That's just how I interpret it. It's doing it has a different set of priorities when it comes to the writing compared to the adventure games. The adventure games did kind of prioritize a wider thematic plot and lore exploration with its stories, and the the dialogue was definitely a lesser, if at all, priority. Whereas with this game, you have the opposite, where it's not doing anything crazy with the story or the characters, and they're definitely not developing or changing all that much. But these are fun conversations. If you're not having it... Ugh, damn it. Whew. Oh, I almost fell into a pit there. You're not having... you're having a different set of problems, where you're not having those same problems you had back during Adventure, where you had really awkward dialogue. Part of that's because they actually have good voice actors now, finally, also. But that's enough, that's again one of the reasons. Whew. I'm more bewildered than anything by the people who complain about this game's quote-unquote writing, because, yeah, it's not doing the same thing and has a different set of priorities, but that's not bad. Like, doing something different isn't bad. It's not worse. Fuck you. It's just a different... It's just trying to do something different in a different way and accomplish a different goal and intention. It's definitely doing gameplay first, story second. But even in that way, like, I'd say all that, my original point is, it's still, like, contributing to the character's growth, particularly Sonic's. And it's not setting it, like, my original point with that I was trying to make. I will just get lost sometimes. I really feel like there's merit to the idea of considering... Oh, come on, bounce! Bounce to the left! God damn you! I really feel like there's merit to the idea of looking into the thought of scripting out things I want to talk about, instead of just trying to remember and doing it while fucking trying to play a game and not completely suck ass at the same time. Scratchies! I love that. Anyway. That's the thing I really like about the Sonic series, is it never, like, hits the reset button and says, okay, back to the status quo. Like, remember all that, like, important character building and the change in personality that they went through, and the newfound sense of self-actualized satisfaction that they have in their life and abilities now compared to when they first started out? Yeah, just ignore that. We're going back to the way it was like, you don't have the comic book problem of characters aren't allowed to grow up. It really, like, that's the best example to use of what I'm talking about, is comic book characters aren't allowed to change. Batman can never get over his parents' death. He is never allowed to change. And the only times you did have exceptions to that were back in the fucking 80s when comics were good. And you had characters like Robin growing up and becoming Nightwing. And those were exceptions. That's not the norm. That's not what you normally expect. You expect characters' development to get reset and to go back to the status quo. And you get that in video games a lot too. But Sonic has never done that. When a character changes in Sonic, example, Tails, it sticks. Tails is still the self-assured equal life partner of Sonic, not the kid sidekick anymore. He's no longer running around trying to emulate Sonic's example in, like, being a super fast running around bashing bots hero type. Now Tails is self-assured in finding his own way to be a hero, utilizing his own set of expertise and interests. Instead of, like, just emulating Big Brother, now he's, like, doing his own thing. And in doing so, could now very easily be considered an equal partner next to Sonic, not running behind him, as he was previously. And say what you want about the writing in this game, which is stupid, but it doesn't set that back. Tails is still the self-assured, like, for the first time, Sonic asked me to do something. I won't let him down. I won't give up. Gotta believe in myself. This is not simply my way, my own style. Gotta get a hold of my life. That song is so good when it comes to describing his character. All of the characters are great songs. I like fucking Reach for the Stars, by the way. I don't know why people gotta be assholes and act like that's not a good song. Again, the only thing people acknowledge about Sonic Colors is something that they can pretend is bad, which is the theme song. And, fuck, like, I guess music is a matter of taste. So you might say that I'm the crazy one here, but I love Reach for the Stars. Oh, no. It's a very, like, they've definitely expanded to a different aesthetic musically compared to before. This era, you could say, of Sonic has a different style of music compared to the adventure era. I mean, like, you can point to the fact that the final boss didn't have the theme song of the game playing. It had an orchestral cover playing. Like, that speaks to kind of a different set of priorities, musically. But anyway, what are the words of Reach for the Stars? Ah, shit. Can't think of it off the top of my head because I'm listening to this fucking sick guitar riffs of the level theme. Take off at the speed of sound. Bright lights, colors all around. I'm wandering wild, I'm living fast and free. Got no regrets inside of me. Not looking back, not giving up, not letting go. I keep on running. Still sounds like a good, like, that's Sonic. That's his character right there in a song. Still keeping true to what the characters were. Not expanding on them for sure, but they don't really need to be expanded on anymore. I feel like every character has kind of reached a good little equilibrium. Sweaty. Ah, yeah, this level. I don't have the pink wisp right now, so a lot of this level is just not something I'm able to interact with at the moment. Once again, these levels are kind of made to be replayed to a degree, so you can come back here once you have Pink Wisp and do this level again and access a lot more of it than you'd be able to just going through it the first time here now. If you came here first without doing the level that you get the Pink Wisp at, which is a different, like, stage. Which is why I don't have it, because you get it in a different level. So, yep, really short one, but I got like, basically no red rings, and my score is gonna be total garbage. That's where, like, again, all, like, you could have even seen just through that, like, the level geometry was kind of an intricate maze kind of thing, where you're running back and forth and taking different routes to get to the different red rings and whatnot. Every level, whereas compared to this level, which was like a good little 3D stage where you're like rolling around on the roller coaster and shit. But anyway, that's something I love about the Sonic games in particular, is they never walk it back. There is no status quo. I mean, there kind of is, but not really, but like, you know what I mean. Like, Tails is the life partner, not the sidekick. Now. It's maintaining the post-Adventure 2 character development that he went through. You don't, like, to me, maintaining character consistency, like, I would rather a character not develop at all than for you to fuck up their character and walk back development they had in the past. This level is just running around on a racetrack fucking up Motobus. That's all this level was. Goodness gracious. But again, name another level in the game that's that, right? I got 0 red rings, though. Again, like, if I was a completionist when it comes to Sonic. And I'm a completionist when it comes to other things, but with Sonic, it just doesn't grab me that way. Okay, here we go.
What is this place? Whoa. This is where he converts them into the strange, negative aliens with the freaky energy.
Oh, there you are. I thought I lost you for a second. Did you find anything interesting?
Define
Look at all of
interesting.
them. He's captured thousands of aliens.
Don't worry. We'll get them out.
Sonic, I haven't seen Yacker for a while.
You'll have to excuse me, buddy. I have a generator to shut down.
Yeah, all the other Wisps are just normal Wisps, but the nega Wisps, the purple Wisps, are the result of Eggman juicing the Wisps for their hypergoon energy or whatever it was. And then they come out the other side as nega Wisps, and the game doesn't really go into it all that much, but the ability they give to Sonic is like what happens to them. They end up becoming this like berserk, thoughtless monstrosity type aliens, which is really funny because the DS version of this game, which, oh man, the DS version of this game is pretty fun. It's made by the Sonic Rush guys, the Dimps people, and what's funny about it is the console version of the game here is just Sonic and Tails running around being Sonic and Tails. Right? And it's sort of like, it's a... Oh, fuck off. It's sort of a very back-to-basics kind of game, where it's just it's Robotnik's kidnapping helpless animals, in this case alien animals, and trying to build an evil thing. And Sonic's here to fucking show up and bash his boss and stop it, and put a stop to it. And it's just him and it's just Sonic and Tails, and they're doing their thing. And the DS version kind of has a different story, funnily enough. Like, the long and short of it's still generally the same, where Eggman made the interstellar amusement park where he got a bunch of little planets and put them all together to make amusement park attractions out of. But, like, the way it plays out is differently. For one thing, all of the different side characters throughout the series show up. Fucking Silver, the Hedgehog, is in the DS version of Sonic Colors, which is hilarious. Omega shows up. Shadow's in there. It's really fun. Like, there's all these side quests with all the different Sonic characters. Asteroid Coaster. Oh man. If this wasn't a clear OSHA violation, this would actually be a really fun ride to go on. And the conclusion of the DS version is also different. Where, like, I'll go ahead and spoil this now because it's not going to be in the console version. But in the DS version, the final boss ends up being like the mother wisp or something, like a queen bee kind of wisp, who's been corrupted by the energy of the nega wisps from Eggman juicing her of her hypergonians or whatever the fuck this plan is. And that's what the final boss is. You're fighting the queen bee wisp, so to speak. So it gets a little bit more deeper into the idea of the wisps getting corrupted and becoming nega. Like, the fact that nega wisps are a thing is much more of a source of drama and conflict in regards to Eggman's plan and them going about foiling it in the DS version. Like, the console version doesn't really get all that into it. It's the explanation for how he's powering his, like, mind control beam thing. But the fact that it's caterpillars! Caterpillars! But the fact that, like, it's a fucked up thing that he's doing to the wisps isn't, like, a huge factor of consideration. Yeah, like this is, like, the fact that the wisps are turning into that and turning Sonic into that is much more of a big deal in the DS version compared to how the console version here is just using it in regards to its gameplay utility and isn't incorporating it into the narrative. Yeah, the caterpillars! Look at them! Look at the caterpillars! Oh no! I think there's a difference between caterpillars and the blue caterpillar robot, Badniks. Oh, I'm gonna get hit. There we go. I don't have all of the Badniks' different names memorized. But again, you can have the prawns here. Why am I calling them that? I think they're called prawns. So you can have the prawns here, but also Badniks. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Sonic Forces, you can have Badniks. Anyway. I definitely like the foot soldier type enemies they have in Sonic Forces over the pawns that they have in this, and that started out from Sonic Heroes. That's for sure. This is kind of a mini boss. Like, I don't even know what you would call this. It's not like a boss encounter. Oh, I died. That's shitty. Ah, no dancing whip, that's it. For some reason, some people take issue with the wisps. Which is another thing I don't get. Oh! Ah! Well, like I don't have a million lives. And for some reason, like, people, certain sections of the Sonic fan community have a problem with the wisps, and I really don't get that one. Once again, I am more bewildered than anything. Like, they talk about the wisps like people talk about the werehog, like, aw, the wisps are the worst, stop shoving them into the game, or whatever. And it's like, they're power-ups. Like, it's a 2D platforming game. They're power-ups. Like, what's the big deal? It's a better justification for power-ups than Sonic wears a different hat. Or like energy shields that never made sense or were explained. At least they're explaining what the power-ups are and what their deal is and how they work. Literally had a cutscene where it tells like they have the hyper go-ons. And that's what's like powering the new abilities that allow you to go through the environment. Again, like, what are you people even complaining about? God damn, I usually don't have this problem with this. Like, usually I get through it pretty thoughtlessly. But yeah, some people out there, for some ungodly reason I don't comprehend and greatly don't want to, have a big problem with the Wisps that it started out in this game, and like to hear them talk like they're Poochie and they've completely dominated the series. And like, for one thing, the only level of Sonic Generations that the Wisps are in is the level that's covering Sonic Colors. So yeah, there's gonna be Wisps in the level that is about the game where the Wisps came from. And in Sonic Lost World, like, I don't even, again, they're different Wisps, and it's a different set of power. Do not get the complaints about the Wisps, quite frankly. Of all the things you could complain about, oh, I don't like the power-ups. Okay? I wouldn't even think of, like, that's not even something I think about. It's not even something that has, like, if I hadn't seen people complaining about it, it's not even something I would have thought of as a thing that matters. That's so weird to me. I did die a lot during that level, so... Come on. At least, there we go. Come on, come on! Yeah! Make up a little bit for the embarrassing amount of deaths during that one for some reason. But yeah, like, this section sort of is the only... And I like this idea where he got a bunch of toxic asteroids, and here is where he decided, let's set up the factory to drain the Wisps and get all this negative go-on energy or whatever. Here's my favorite cutscene.
I don't like what you're doing.
My favorite cutscene right here. Everyone shut up.
It's messed up, so I'm gonna mess you up. Yeah, that's right. I'm stretching. You got a problem with that? I want to be able to fully enjoy taking you apart without some pulled muscle slowing me down.
Oh my goodness!
Okay, now I'm ready.
He touched his toe!
Run away, please feel free.
He's
No shame in it. Well, maybe a little shame.
He's doing stretching!
You guys don't talk much, do you? Fair enough.
Poor Sonic.
Warn you.
He is a jokester and he must quip, but he has no one to quip against. They're just robots. Again, there's only like 3, 4-ish bosses in this game, and then they remix them.
Just don't be surprised when it works. Find it again?
I think this is the boss I was thinking about, where you can boost into him and get some major damage done that way. But I'm not sure. But yeah, that's my favorite cutscene! So I'm gonna do stretches! I'm gonna do some warm-up stretches before fighting this boss. Oh no! It's Sonic the Hedgehog. He runs really fast. And when he runs fast, that means he's gotta do stretches. So cute! Anyway, that's not something that ever really gets thought about, I guess. Like, for some reason, I think, like, not helped by the comics, which, God Lord, now that the comics are fucking dead, the one thing I want in this life is for the word Mobians to fucking die. Now that the comics are no longer a factor. But for some reason, like, Sonic having super speed has always kind of weirdly been treated like a superpower. Like it's a special ability. Or like, sometimes you have sources being like, it's his shoes. he has special shoes that let him run fast. Or like he was dropped into a vat of radioactive waste or something. Thus, he can, like, that kind of thing, excuse, you know, they treat it like, oh, he's in touch with the Speed Force, right? Like it's a superpower. No, Sonic's just, he runs fast. Like, you know how he runs fast? Because he runs, and he gets faster every time he goes out running. And like, the maintenance that goes into him running is never really touched upon. Like, guess what? You can't just start running. You're gonna fucking rip some shit up internally. Here we go. We need to close this. No, not fair. I think you have to get, like, right in the middle if I want to use the rocket wisp on this guy. Like, the maintenance that goes into being, like, a hobbyist runner, like, you have to do stretches. You're gonna fuck up your legs. For a while, I tried to do running, and I wouldn't do my stretches, and guess what? I fucked myself up doing that. So yeah, a serial runner like Sonic would naturally do a lot of stretches before he goes out running. But that's boring, so obviously it never gets shown. So whenever they show him doing those stretches, I just think it's the cutest shit ever. Fucking you up with my racket. So that's like my favorite little cutscene, because it's, I'm gonna do stretches now, and then the boss fight is an endless runner on the Star Highway. Oh, this is just the best thing. That's just for me, I guess. But for me, that's like the best thing, is showing Sonic doing stretches. I love that so much. Again, I don't know where that comes from. Like, oh, he's a superhero. He has superpowers. He has superhuman abilities. No, he just, when you do something a lot, you get better at it. He runs a lot. He gets better at running. That's it.
That was almost difficult.
Sonic, you did it!
Couldn't have done it without you, buddy.
Oh no! Hey, we both deserve some kind of reward.
Yeah, let's go to an amusement park or something.
All right, but one that's, you know, less evil than this one.
So, are all the aliens getting free?
Looks like it. Once the power went off, the locks vanished. I hope Yakker's okay.
I think he'll be fine. You don't think the weapon you were shot with still works?
Not without power flowing to it. I think we're all good.
That's what I like to hear.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It has different priorities. We're like, remember how I talked about how, like, Team Dark, Sonic, Rouge, and Shadow, Rouge, and Omega. I totally buy their friendship. Like, they're believably 3 amigos and buddies. And, like, in a weird way, you kind of never had that with Sonic and Tails. It made sense in the adventure games, where, like, Tails was kind of an annoying little brother, and Sonic was the too cool for school to deal with that character relationship. But then after Sonic Adventure, like, you had very sparse interactions, but in this game, the way they're written in this game and how they interact in this game, and the dialogue they have bouncing off of each other, I buy it! They're buddies! They're buttos! They're buckaroonies! It's so cute! They're just saying dumb shit back and forth, making stupid little in-jokes and puns and laughing at each other, and laughing with each other, and, like, kind of for the first time, I buy Sonic and Tails as best friends, you know? So I'll say what the problem with the writing is. And I had to say all that while looking at this screen, because I'm not gonna talk, because get ready for some motherfucking music. Oh man, sends fucking chills down your spine. This is like the best.
Change forms from a pink wisp with a wall and ceiling running spiked.
Like the best, like this song kind of got a little famous, where people were like, dude, that fucking music, the Planet Wisp song, the track that plays during this level is incredible. Like it's got the soothing, like majestic alien landscape, exotic, like comfort of the piano, but then Eggman is excavating here and like kinda doing his thing where he's building factories and whatnot and corrupting nature. And that's where, like, you have a little bit of a mechanical dun 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 that comes like, oh, it's just the best fucking music. So I didn't want to talk over the music, so that's why I had to linger a little bit at the level select screen there, because I didn't want to talk over this amazing music. So this planet is the one the Wisps originate from, and all the other planets are just, oh shit, planets that Eggman just kind of corralled in for their different utility functions. Whoop. Such good fucking music in this level. Further too, you can see him going like, okay, I need these asteroid fields for the fucking, like, factory that I can build there in order to extract the Wisp's natural energies. Oh, come on, there we go. Oh, am I dead? No, okay, thank God. For their natural energies, he took the water one, because I don't know, sushi restaurant. Again, I can't really... You're making an amusement park, I guess you want a sushi restaurant. I don't know. Or like a water slide, there you go. Japan-themed water slide attraction. I'm struggling to think of other reasons you would want a water world. But like, you would think like he found Planet Wisp first, you would think. And then he kind of went around. Again, you can get this real idea of like, okay, fuck these like ancient mystical prophecy things of chaos and the Dark Gaia. Time to hammer in on the sci-fi, right? Where do those Black Arms aliens come from? Let's go out into space and start looking for shit. And found all these other planets. And he's like, oh, I can do something with this.